ॐ सहनावतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। Question from Deepika on topic of Shraddha as Pramanam and it being an independent entity. You explained the purpose of intellect is to reveal logic, reason. Can we break intellect into gross intellect and subtle intellect? Is it correct to say the purpose of gross intellect is to reveal logic and the subtle intellect is for transcendental inquiry? Does subtle intellect have any role in Shraddha? Where does conscience fit in? Does conscience have any role in Shraddha? Because my understanding is our conscience is always pointing us towards the self. First, can we break Shraddha into gross intellect to reveal logic and subtle intellect is for transcendental inquiry? Correct. It's an inquiry. Inquiry means that which is done through an instrument which is not Shraddha. Again, the answer. Inquiry means it is done through an instrument. You are not inquiring about the transcendental. You are negating the terrestrial, subtle intellect. Remember, always, subtle intellect negates the terrestrial, for it has no access to the transcendental. Therefore, the transcendental part, the subtle intellect has Shraddha in the Shastras, if what all you want to say that. But it is not part of the intellect. Intellect means it distinguishes. What is the function of intellect? The basic function of intellect is to discriminate, discernment. Correct? Is Deepika here? Yeah. Okay. So the basic function of the intellect is discrimination, discernment. Correct? In Shraddha, there is no discernment or discrimination. It is Shraddha is a faith where no discrimination is involved. The moment a discrimination comes in, it comes under the category of the intellect. That intellect, when it discriminates between inside the terrestrial world, it is called gross intellect. When the same intellect try to negate the terrestrial and ask, is there anything beyond the terrestrial? That function of the intellect is called subtle. Therefore, there is subtle function of the intellect. It is not subtle intellect. It is subtle discrimination of the intellect. Don't divide intellect as a two instruments. Don't divide intellect itself into gross and subtle. Grosser discrimination, subtler discrimination. When the discrimination is subtle between known and the unknown, it is called subtle because you are negating the known in relation to that which is unknown. That is subtle intellect. Correct? Are you able to understand subtle intellect? What is gross intellect? This discriminating faculty, when it happens within the boundary of the terrestrial, is called gross. Therefore, grosser discrimination, subtler discrimination. Intellect is not of two. The function, when the discrimination is gross, it's called gross intellect. When the discrimination is subtle, it's called subtle intellect. But sir, you are changing the entire anatomy we have been studying till now. You are coming and confusing us now. You are changing everything. When I'm not changing everything, we didn't understand it properly. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm also using the same words. I'm not using any distinct different words. It's the same word which is not understood, rightly. Are you able to follow? Therefore, subtle intellect is a subtler discrimination between the terrestrial and the transcendental. Gross intellect is discrimination happening within the, the terrestrial. Is it okay? What is Shraddha? Shraddha is not a discriminative logical conclusion. Correct? Again, I repeat. Shraddha is not a logical conclusion. You don't go through the process of reflection, you don't go through the process of question analysis and then say, I have Shraddha. It's called knowledge, it's not Shraddha. Are you able to follow are you able to understand the difference now? Where knowledge has come in, where questioning, knowledge, understanding has come into play, it is not Shraddha. Therefore, three distinct entities: emotions, reasoning, and Shraddha. And this faculty, just as emotions and intellect are given at birth itself, Shraddha is also given to us at birth. We are only making use of it, which is given to us at birth. Is it okay till now? We are only making use of it, that which is given to us at birth. When all the, now I'm explaining technically. When all the other pramanams are negated, as in pratyaksha, anumana, upamana is negated, what is left with? When pratyaksha, anumana, upamana and all is negated, what is left with? You are left with a big question mark of not knowing what it is. And you pursue that question mark. What is it called? It's a very big question mark. Do you know Brahman and pursue Brahman? Do you get indicators of Brahman and then start pursuing Brahman? Do you know God and pursue God? Do you get glimpses of God here and there and then you pursue God? Shraddha, full stop. Are you able to follow? It is Shraddha. But to say that I have Shraddha requires a lot of knowledge and understanding. That is correct. But to say I have Shraddha requires a lot of clarity. What is the clarity? Pratyaksha, Anumana, Upamana is useless. Therefore, I use another faculty that at birth nature has given to me. What is that? What is that faculty that nature has given to me at birth itself? The capacity to have Shraddha, trust. Therefore, I will use that faculty, that which is given to me at birth itself. Because Pratyaksha, Anumana, Upamana is not helping at all. Emotions and impulses and rest of it doesn't help at all. Are you able to follow what is Shraddha means? Therefore, Shraddha is a very important aspect of Shraddha becomes a very important aspect of growth, which is always ignored a lot. Either excessive thing is given to emotions. In the name of bhakti, excessive focus is given on emotions. In the name of knowledge, etc., excessive thing is given to the intellect. Third one is completely neglected. And it is the third factor that helps you to and yet it is the third factor that helps you to grow. Are you able to follow? This is Shraddha. This is answering the question on the intellect, gross intellect, subtle intellect, and Shraddha. So to summarize, don't divide instrument intellect into two. Correct? In the introduction, we have already explained it very clearly. Intellect is not an instrument, it is a function. Mind and intellect is not instrumental difference. In the introduction to the fall of human intellect, we have studied that in detail. Is mind an instrument? Is intellect an instrument? No, it is not an instrument. When thoughts function in a particular way, it is called emotion. When thoughts function in a particular way, it is called intellect. Therefore, mind and intellect is not instrumental difference. Mind and intellect is functional difference. Eyes and nose, are they functional difference? Instrumental difference. Instrument itself is different. Mind and intellect is made up of thoughts. Is it instrumental difference or functional difference? It's functional difference. But for in the initial stage of understanding, we want to keep it clear. Therefore, we talk about it as though it's two different instruments. But having understood it, we should come to the next level of understanding. We should not still be sticking to instrumental difference. It is thought, functional difference. The thought discriminating within the terrestrial is called gross. Subtle grosser discrimination, subtler discrimination. That's all it is. Next clarification. Does subtle intellect have any role in Shraddha? Based on the answer that we have given, subtle intellect has no role in Shraddha, because again subtle intellect is negating the terrestrial. So does subtle intellect have any role in Shraddha? It's an independent entity. Where does conscience fit in? Next class. Where does conscience fit in? Definition of conscience is always pointing us towards the self, the higher. Does conscience have any role in Shraddha? What is conscience? Pointing towards the self. Replace the word self with unknown. What is conscience? What is conscience? Pointing towards the unknown. Is there a pointer towards the unknown? Then what is conscience? Conscience is a product of dharmic. The conscience is a product of understanding of dharma. Again, I repeat. Conscience is a product of understanding dharma. Once you understand dharma, something in you keeps telling you, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. And when it says don't do this, it's a command. It's not an explanation. You can't go to the conscience and ask why. You can go and ask conscience why, but it will not be there to answer, because conscience only gives a command. Are you able to follow? Don't do this. When you ask why, who should explain that? Who explains that? Again, it is dharma only comes and explains that. Again, it is dharma only comes and explains. Are you able to follow? Therefore, what is conscience? Conscience has two definitions. One is in the absolute sense, pointing towards the self. Now, that definition of conscience is of no. It's like saying Brahman is all pervading. God is all pervading. Now, does that statement, God is all pervading, help in any way? Similarly, saying conscience is pointing towards the self. What are the other things? The other thing is this. What does conscience means? Conscience is that which tells you don't do this. Based on what it tells you don't do this. Based on what the conscience tells you don't do this. Dharma. Hmm? Dharma. And dharma becomes a subject matter of the Veda. And Veda is belonging to Shraddha. Veda is belonging to Shraddha. Now, sequentially, what now? Veda equals Shraddha. And that Shraddha is in what? What it tells you, the commands. Are you able to follow? More and more and more you understand Dharma, more your understanding of Dharma, more the voice of conscience will be clear. Otherwise, the conscience will say one thing, intellect will come and say, don't try all these things. All this will not work in the modern day. Sir, we should change according to the times, no, sir. Correct. Change according to the times and eat through the nose. That's all, isn't it? Change according to the times and eat through the nose. What will happen? There is no time changing and all. Mind keeps on picking up new things and getting excited about it, which we conveniently to satisfy our ego, we will call it as growth. All this is play of ignorance. All this is play of the ignorance. Are you able to follow? Therefore, conscience is that which is a product of a conviction in dharma. Dharma is taught by whom? The scriptures. Dharma is taught by the scriptures. And because you can't understand the scripture, you have to rely on the one who's explaining the scripture. Angada problem starts. Because you cannot understand the scripture, you have to rely on the one who explains the scriptures. Are you able to follow? The one who explains the scriptures becomes the guru. At any given point of time, the guru can never become superior to the scripture. It is always because he never said Tasmat Acharya Pramana. He didn't say that, no. He didn't say Tasmat Guru Pramanam. No, he said Tasmat Shastram Pramanam. It is always the Shastram. Yeah, definitely we need a guru, no doubt about it. Definitely we need a guru because we do not know how to understand the scripture. Since we do not know how to understand the scripture, we rely on the guru. At some point of time, what happens? See, guru is like a celebrity endorsing a product. Take it or leave it. Ya pashyati sa pashyati. Ganesh, Purida. Guru is like a celebrity endorsing a product. Are you able to follow? Oh, let us say Mahendra Singh Dhoni, the celebrity endorses a product. Will you buy Mahendra Singh Dhoni or will you buy the product? Is Mahendra Singh Dhoni the important factor there or the product is the important factor there? What is the important factor? Product. Tasmat Shastram Pramanante. Tasmat Shastram Pramanante. Yes, you will be extremely grateful to the guru. You will give your life up for the guru. All that will happen. All that is not denied. All that is not taken away. All that is there. But the conviction comes from what? I should say Guru and scripture is one and the same. Are you okay? Ramana Maharshi goes one step higher. He says God slash Guru slash Shastra, he says. All three are one and the same. God slash Guru slash Shastra. All three are synonymous, he says. All three are one and the same. ஏன்னா மூணு பேர் சொல்றதும் புரியறது இல்லை. All the three saying we don't understand anything. One. Number two, all that they see we cannot follow. Either way, it's very clear, isn't it? All that they say is not understandable. Yeah. God, not understandable. Guru, much more complicated. Shastram, yeah. Almost you have to say forget it, isn't it? Therefore, the subtle intellect, as in, therefore, the conscience is a product of dharma. Mind and intellect derives its strength from worldly sciences, material knowledge, etc. Pratyaksham, anumanam, upamanam. Conscience derives its strength from dharma. Keep it separate. Don't mix everything together in a mixie. Deepika. Eat everything separately, isn't it? Don't put everything together and mix it up. And what is it called if you mix everything together? What is it called? Vijayarangan. அதுக்கு என்ன பேரு? Cocktail. Cocktail பண்ணாதீங்க. Are you doing cocktail, Vijayarangan? You are taking it separately only, no? Correct. Don't put everything together and make it into a cocktail. Understand emotions separately. Understand intellect separately. Understand Shraddha separately. Understand conscience separately. Ultimately, they may all converge at some point. Let that convergence point allow it to reveal that convergence point. Don't logically rush into concluding that divergent point. That's the mistake you are all making. You are rushing into wanting the divergent point through logic. Don't do that. Let the convergence reveal. Wait for it to reveal. So understand everything separately. Is it okay till now? All questions are answered, no?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yes. Question from Ranjini. The fall of human intellect, the vital role of the intellect. Just as eyes is the only pramanam for color and form, is Shraddha a pramanam for Veda, or Veda a pramanam for what? What is the corresponding analogy for eyes and color and form? First thing. Veda is a pramanam. Veda is a pramanam that reveals through Shraddha. Just as color and form is there, that color and form gets revealed through the eyes. Similarly, the Vedas exist, that Vedas reveals itself through Shraddha. Are you able to follow? Eyes are not the creators of color and form, correct? Does eye create color and form, or color and form exist? Color and form exist. How can you say that it is even existing? Only because of the eye. Supposing there is a creature, there are species which doesn't have eyes at all. For them, color and form don't exist at all. It means that branch of knowledge of color and form itself don't exist. There's no pramanam at all for them. So there is a pramanam and there has to be a corresponding instrument. So Veda is the pramanam that the knowledge of Veda reveals itself through Shraddha. Just as color and form exist, it reveals through the eyes. Eyes are not the creator of color and form, and yet without eyes, you can never understand color and form. Correct? Again, I repeat. Color and form exist. But without eyes, can you ever conceive of color and form? Impossible. Therefore, Color and form exist. I is the pramanam that reveals the color and form. Are you able to follow? Similarly, Shraddha is the pramanam that reveals Vedas. Vedas exist. If you don't have Shraddha, 95% of the humanity don't have Shraddha in the Veda. Therefore, for them, what doesn't exist at all? The thing called Veda doesn't exist at all. Are you able to follow? That's how it is connected. Veda is the knowledge. Veda is the knowledge. And the knowledge reveals itself through a pramanam. Are you able to follow?
When you're saying Veda is also Pramanam, then you're saying Shraddha
In
is
a very
also
loose way, we say Veda is a pramanam. In a very loose way, we say, in a very loose way, it said Vedas itself is the pramanam. But that Veda is a pramanam is revealed through what? Shraddha. Veda is a pramanam revealed through Shraddha. So very loosely we say Veda is a pramanam, Veda is a pramanam, Veda is the pramanam. Tasmat Shastram pramanam te. Tasmat Shastram pramanam te. Since I said Shastram is a pramanam, we keep using it. But that Shastram is a pramanam is revealed through what? Pramanam means what?
the authority.
Only one source to reveal it. No other source can access it. No other source can deny it. Then only it is called a pramanam. Therefore, Veda is a pramanam is revealed through what? Shraddha.
Veda is a Pramanam is revealed through Shraddha.
Yes. Veda as a pramanam is revealed through Shraddha.
And what does Veda reveal?
Veda reveals Brahman. What does Veda reveal? Veda reveals Dharma. Veda reveals Brahman. Veda and Brahman is one and the same. Veda, is Veda the words? No, it's Brahman. Therefore, Shraddha means Shraddha reveals the Vedas. It means Vedas reveals Brahman. Shraddha reveals Brahman. That's how it is connected. Because here we use Veda and Shraddha as one and the. Here we use Veda and Brahman as one and the same. Carefully follow. Is scripture the group of words? If it is a group of words, it is Paurusham. It is human made. Words are human made. Correct? Words are human made. Therefore, the 4 Vedas are human made. But then the subject matter of the 4 Vedas is what? Brahman. Is Brahman the product? No. Therefore, Brahman revealed itself through these words. So these words are not created by, we will say these words are not created by human beings. That's why we say Vedas are apaurusheyam, not created by humans. It's a Shraddha. Are you able to follow? Is it clear? Yeah. Next clarification. Are you saying that logic and reason support Shraddha, just like logic and reason supports the I as only authority? Correct. Logic and reasons is supporting Shraddha. That's why we call it as Tarka Sammata. Last week we spoke about it as Tarka Janya, Tarka Pradhana, and Tarka Sammata. This is Tarka Sammata. Clear? Same word we use in Tamil also, no? Sammadam. Sammadam na enna artham? It's not the source. Through it is used. So logic is a tool here. Logic is not the ultimate here. Therefore, it is Tarka Sammata. We use logic and reason to explain the words. We don't use logic and reason to negate the words. We don't use logic and reason to dismiss the words of the Veda. We use logic and reason to establish the words of the Veda as right. Therefore, it is called Tarka Sammata. Is logic and reason important? The word is important. The word is important. Supposing if there are some words which logic and reason cannot explain, what will you do there? What will you drop? There are some words in the Veda. Logic and reason explains some words. Logic and reason cannot explain some words. What will you drop here? If you drop logic and reason, it is tarka sammata. If you drop the Veda, it is tarka pradhana. Because not all words of the Vedas can be explained through logic and reason. Not all words of the Veda can be explained through logic and reason. Are you able to follow? Is it clear to everyone? It's a very, very important aspect that we need to understand. Is it okay till now? Next question. Is my understanding correct? That what Vedas say is the conclusion. This conclusion is not arrived through logic and reason, and logic and reason is used as an aid only to explain the conclusion of the Vedas. Correct. If yes, does it mean the role of logic and reason is to explain the already arrived conclusion? Yes. Brahma Satyam Jagat Mithya it's not a presupposition. In science, it is a supposition. Correct, no? In math, what do we call it as? Let X be the answer. What is it called? You don't know what it is. So you have to do something and arrive at a conclusion. Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya is the starting point. So you have to use logic and reason to arrive at that conclusion of Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya. We don't say starting point, I don't know what it is, let X be unknown, use all the formulas and then come and say Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya. Are you able to follow? Therefore, the world is Maya. The world is Maya. How do you arrive at it? You don't analyze and then say, therefore it is Maya. It is Maya because it is said in the scriptures. Now logic and reason explains it. Be dharmic. Now you will use logic and reason to come to the conclusion of, therefore I should be dharmic, as said in the Vedas. I should be unselfish, as said in the Vedas. Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya, as said in the Vedas. So it means for everything, the conclusion is as said. It means you start with what? You don't start with a hypothesis. Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya is not an hypothesis. It is a fact which you explain it logically. Are you able to follow? How do you explain it logically? Clay and the pot, rope and the snake and all comes to explain it logically. Clay and the pot, to explain it logically. Are you able to follow? That's why it's called the classic method of logic and reason of Veda is superimposition and negation. Adhyoropa, apavada, it's called technically. Don't forget the Sanskrit words. The technique of superimposition and negation. First you superimpose and then negate. For example, the boy sees the pot. The pot is the superimposition upon the clay. So first is what you will say, pot. And then you say clay pot. And then you say only clay, Nama Rupa. That's all. Vedanta. Beautiful it is. Able to follow? This is the logic. Very beautiful system of logic they have developed. To explain how beautifully they explain this. The boy sees the pot. So he'll say it's a pot. And then you say clay pot. Now, clay is not an introduction. Clay is there already. The pot is superimposed on the existing clay. Because you see pot first, for you, what do you see first? The pot. So, just as you see the world, what do you see first? The world you see. Because you see the world, then it's like the pot. And then we say, no, no, no. There is the clay that is appearing as the pot. This is called negation of the pot. First, the pot is superimposed upon the clay, and then second is it is nothing but the clay. Because of the nama rupa, it appears to be different. Logic and reason. Therefore, we come and say Brahma Satyam, Jagan Mithya, etc. Now this Brahma Satyam, Jagan Mithya itself is said already. Therefore, Brahma Satyam, Jagan Mithya, example to explain it, and then therefore you conclude and say what? Correct. What is said in the Vedas is makes sense. What is said in the Vedas makes sense. Therefore, what does the Guru do? He knows the Vedic statements are Satyam, Pramanam, so helpful they are, so beneficial they are, so great they are, that Apaurusheயம் words, the Apaurusheയം, they are able to bring it into some logic and reason which is able to convince us. Are you able to follow? Next clarification. Is conclusion for Pratyaksha Anumana Pramana arrived through logic and reason, or logic and reason is used as an aid to explain the conclusion of Pratyaksha and Anumana? For Pratyaksha, it is the Indriyas, the senses. For Anumana, logic and reason. For Pratyaksha, it is the senses. I am seeing. It's not a logical. It's not a faith. It's not a blind faith. The eyes reveal color and form. So, for Pratyaksham is the Pramanam through the Indriyas. But the Indriyas themselves can become, the Indriyas themselves can mislead. Therefore, the data that the Indriyas, the senses provide, we infer, Anumanam. Therefore, inference, Anumanam uses logic and reason. Senses don't use logic and reason. Senses are independent Pramanam agents. Senses are independent Pramanam agents. It reveals. It reveals, isn't it? Something I have seen, you will say. Supposing you have gone to the forest. You saw an animal. You don't know what it is. Senses says you saw that. You come back and say, I saw something. Then you are told to describe that. You are asked to describe that. You will say, like this, like this. It had 4 legs. It had horns. It had this. And then a buffalo will be brought and said, is it like this? Yes. Eyes revealed something. Logic and reason, through Upamana, you concluded it as wild buffalo, bison, whatever be it. Are you able to follow? So senses reveal, and intellect, logic and reason comes to a conclusion. Infer something out of it. All combined works together to reveal the world. Pratyaksham, Anumanam, Upamanam, all, in fact, there are other 2. I'm not even going to the other 2 because we never, since it is not there, I never discussed the other 2. Pratyaksham, Anumanam, Upamanam combined reveals the world. But that combination cannot reveal. That combination cannot reveal dharma, transcendental, which is an integral part of the world, that keeping the entire cosmos, creation together, etc. Dharma. To start there only, we move to the discussion of dharma, etc. Are you able to follow? Therefore, pratyaksham, anumana, upamanam all works together to give you the knowledge of the terrestrial. Are you able to follow?
He said that the Indriyas are given at birth, just like Shraddha is also given at birth. So if both are provided at birth, then I should have same kind of faith in both, isn't it? For the Indriyas as well as the Shraddha, because both are given at birth. Then why is there a difference?
The question is, if it is given at birth, why the pramanam of why Shraddha is not as powerful as the Indriyas? Why it is not as powerful as the Indriyas? Because Shraddha, unless Shraddha comes in contact with the relevant pramanam called Veda, it will not be revealed. Shraddha has to come in contact with the scripture. Just as I has to come in contact with something, similarly, Shraddha is there when it has to come in contact with the scripture. Then only it comes. If it is not coming in contact with the scripture, nothing will happen. Is it over?
Yes, sir, over.
We're over. Huh? What are we studying now?
Role of
Anshu,
Yes, sir.
what are we studying?
So, the fall of human intellect, chapter 5.
Ah, ah,
Vital role of intellect, role of faith.
read that.
Okay. Role of faith. There is a 1 second, sir. Role of faith. There is a general misconception that intellectuals ignore the importance of faith. It is not so. Faith has a distinct role to play in human life. In truth, humanity cannot survive without the element of faith. That you are the son or daughter of your parents is built and sustained through faith. When you sit in an aircraft, you have faith that the pilot will take you to your destination. As you prepare yourself for a surgery in a hospital, you have faith in the surgeon operating on you, etc. These cases and countless others in your life rest on faith. But then it is not blind faith. You cannot dismiss them as unfounded belief. There are no doubt, belief, or faith, but several corroboratory evidences go together to support their credibility. There are two brilliant definitions of faith. Sorry,
Yeah.
One by Christian mystic Joel Goldsmith and the other by the Bengali poet of India, Rabindranath Tagore. Goldsmith defines faith as a belief in a thing I do not know until I come to know what I believe in. Tagore poetizes, faith is the bird that feels the light and sings while the dawn is still dark. These two definitions have well captured the concept of faith. The closest word for faith in Indian language is Shraddha. But Shraddha encompasses more than mere faith. In Shraddha, the mind starts with faith in something, but it does not end there. The intellect thereafter pursues it until it is assimilated, made one's own. For example, a person may have faith in God, but not be truly spiritual. But Shraddha makes him pursue spiritual truths, study and reflect upon them until he is transformed into a divine person. With faith, you gain mere knowledge of a subject, while Shraddha provides you with wisdom to live it. When your intellect examines reflects upon the knowledge gained, it metamorphoses into wisdom. Knowledge provides you with information. Wisdom brings about your transformation.
What is this Shraddha? Ganesh, you have in the previous discussion? Yes.
You last week you said you have two more points to talk about in role of faith.
Yeah, I'm going to start now.
Okay, okay,
I'm starting now.
okay, so okay.
Yeah. We all know faith works. And it has been experimentally proved again and again and again that faith works. Correct? We know that faith works, but we can never know how it works. That's Shraddha. We all know faith works, but how? How does faith work? That's why it's called Shraddha. We know it works, but we do not know how it works. Are you able to follow? Just because I do not know how it works, why should I give it up? I can use it. Are you able to follow? Just because it doesn't know, just because I don't know how it works, why do I have to give it up? That which improves the quality of my life. It is improving my quality of my life, correct? It is improving the quality of my life. When it is improving the quality of my life, why will I not use that faculty? But the difficulty in Shraddha is what? We only know it works. Shraddha works. How? We don't know. Are you able to follow? But sir, I had so much of faith and trust, but I got misled. I had so much of faith and trust that I got misled. Are you able to follow? You are not misled because of your Shraddha. You are misled because of your ignorance, ego, not because of Shraddha. People always come and say, correct, sir, I trusted. But then I trusted this person and I got married. And it didn't work out. Therefore, we should not trust anybody anymore, correct? Is it Shraddha in the first place? It is simply operating on, you are simply operating on your emotions. Are you able to follow? Because you are clouded by your emotions, you thought you knew what you were doing. There's no Shraddha there. You thought you knew what you were doing. Even if somebody were to come and say, don't do it, you will turn back and say, I know what I am doing. Now, is it faith or is it you thought you actually know what you are doing? So, Shraddha never fails. What I am trying to conclude is Shraddha never ever fails. In case if I am misled, Shraddha will not mislead you. Your own ego and ignorance alone can mislead you. That ego and ignorance, you can conveniently call it as faith. To satisfy your ego, you can call it as faith. But that's not how it works. Shraddha, faith can never fail. Take it or leave it. Just as I said, there is no injustice in the world. This is another Mahavakya. Shraddha never fails. Shraddha can never fail. If it is a failure, means you didn't have Shraddha in the first place. It's ego and ignorance. That's all. Because you are misled by your ego and ignorance, you can't come and blame Shraddha for it. Are you able to follow? This is what I wanted to say. Another important aspect of Shraddha is this. We all know Shraddha works. We all know medicine works, no? We all know that faith in the doctor plays a bigger role than the how. Science cannot explain it. Science cannot explain how faith works, because science will come and say that is one gray area which we don't. That's one gray area which we don't understand. You understand, you don't understand, it makes no difference. It works, and it makes your quality of life better. Now, if it is making the quality of your life better, might as well use that faculty of Shraddha. Might as well use that faculty of Shraddha. Another thing, there is nothing unscientific or irrational in making use of Shraddha. But people believe making use of Shraddha means I am unscientific, irrational. That's why people don't like to say I am faith oriented. People like to say I am an emotional person, sir. People like to say I am a sensitive person. And people like to say I am very logical person. But nobody will say I am Shraddha oriented. At least I have not seen anybody telling. Nobody says. Are you able to follow? Either people will say I'm an emotional person, I'm a very sensitive person. No, I can't logic, but I'm very emotional. Correct. Another comes and says, no, I'm not emotional, sir. I'm very logical, scientific. Both are useless. Yeah, both are useless. Here comes the third beautiful thing. What I am? I'm Shraddha based. My God. The day you can say you are Shraddha based, your intellect has started to function, literally. Yeah, till that I'm Shraddha based, sir. Shraddha based means what? Shraddha based means what? So many things in life, not so many, millions, and almost 99% of life is unexplainable, and yet it works meticulously. That is a corroboratory evidence. That's what in the paragraph he said. Are you able to follow? See, 99% of the things in life is unexplainable, but they all work very, very orderly, very systematically. Therefore, to have Shraddha in that law is not blind faith, is not a blind trust. Are you able to understand now? I just want to have a good sleep, sir, isn't it? You want to have a good sleep because you are very sure you are going to get up next morning, isn't it? You are very sure. When I was a child, I used to have weird fears like this. My God, how will I wake up in the same body? How will I eat? What is the guarantee that I'm even going to wake up in the first place? 2-3 nights you can't even sleep after that. Because you don't know whether you're now, we all want to have, I'm all that I want to have a good rest, sir. Why? Shraddha. You are so sure that you're going to get up in the same body, in the same house, with the same set of people around, isn't it? What is it called? The joy of sleep comes from what? The peace of sleep, the joy of sleep, the rest comes from what? Huh? Shraddha. Yeah. Whenever people ask me, "You're rational," I say, I am not rational at all. Just because I appear to talk rationally, but I'm very irrational. Oh, it means are you emotional? No, I am not emotional also. Yeah. Is it, are you a logical person? I am the most illogical person. There's no logic in a big logic. Then what is Shraddha? Shraddha means the faculty which you can make use of, and and it never ever fails. It can never ever mislead you. That's why certain rituals are given in the initial stages of life to activate the Shraddha. Because it is said in the scripture, you do that ritual. At least I started doing it morning, noon, and night. Yeah. Ranjini has not seen that. Sometimes we go for a movie, come back at 10, half past 10 in the night. I'll come at half past 10 in the night and then do the night Sandhya, Gayatri, and then only I'll go to sleep. Why? Because no, it is said it has to be done, it has to be done. It is said it has to be done, it has to be done. It is said it has to be done, it has to be done. Why? What is why? Said it, they have said it, no? Are you able to follow? Most of the time, we can only have irrational attachment, which we call it as faith. Again, irrational attachment, we call it as faith. And then we come back and say, faith didn't work. Are you able to follow? Lastly, faith doesn't mean it will always happen in the way that you want to happen. 80 years, you may sleep and wake up. Doesn't mean 81st year. One day you will sleep and not wake up. Because you understand what Shraddha, that's what is Shraddha. One day I will wake up, one day I will not wake up. The day you wake up, you say thank you. The day you don't wake up, in the new body, you say thank you. All of that. Where is the problem? Yeah, you say thank you in this house, you enter into another house, what will you say? Say thank you there also. Where is the difficulty? This is called Shraddha. And this Shraddha thinking is not contradictory to the Shraddha. In fact, thinking supports the Shraddha. That's what you're trying to explain. Thinking supports the Shraddha. Now you look at the two definitions. The bird that feels the light and sings while the dawn is still dark. No light. No light. It doesn't even have an intellect to understand that because it has come daily, it is going to come today. It doesn't even have an intellect to discriminate and understand it's going to come. And yet it starts chirping. What is it called? That's called Shraddha. Correct? Beautiful definition by Rabindranath Tagore. He says, Shraddha is the bird that feels the light. Feels, not emotional, not intellectual. Feels, we have to use the word emotion. No. There's no feeling. It's not an emotion. It's neither an emotion nor an emotion. Now, one day it will have a doubt. Emotion means it will change one day. How? Maybe one day if it doesn't come, what will happen? That is emotion, samshaya. So one day if it comes late, what will happen? Daylight, night light savings, isn't it? Daylight savings, night light savings, afternoon light savings. Oh my God. The time zone difference is very confusing. That's why a country like India is very simple. Ore time, isn't it? Daylight, night light, afternoon light. But birds doesn't get confused at all, correct? isn't it? It's not an emotion, it's not an intellect. It is Shraddha, the faith. Rabindranath Tagore. What is the second definition of Shraddha? Goldsmith. Goldsmith says, a belief in a thing I do not know until I come to know what I believe in. You start with belief, use logic and reason, and then say, therefore, I understand it. So, what you start with is what you end with. So, both are one and the same. That's why I say, Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya, you start with a belief in the thing that you do not know. What is it that you do not know? Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya. Until I come to know what I believe in. So, one day you come to know. What you will come to know? Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya. Did anything change? Something changed. What is it? In the initial stages, it is Shraddha based. Finally, it is your own. You become the Pramanam for it. Initially, it is Shraddha. Are you able to follow? Therefore, the closest word is Shraddha. The mind starts with faith. It's not in the mind. Carefully follow. It starts with, mind starts with it, intellect pursues it, third entity which they both make use of. For example, a person may have faith in God. Here means what? A irrational belief in God. For example, he says, a person may have faith in God but not be truly spiritual. How can having faith in God not be spiritual? But then what does it mean? Something is there. That's all. Something is there. What it is and all, he has no clarity, no nothing. But in him, Shraddha means the inability to explain. You know it, but if anybody asks you to explain, you will not know how to explain. Or any explanation you give will fall flat. Any explanation you give will fall flat. There a person says, I believe in God. But no, nothing. But Shraddha makes him pursue the spiritual path. Because of Shraddha, he pursues the unknown. It is unknown. He pursues the unknown until transformation happens. That's why he says, while with faith you gain mere knowledge, Shraddha provides you the wisdom to live it. Itself means there is a distinction, no? Is very able to follow. Knowledge provides you with information, and that information itself doesn't bring about a transformation. Knowledge brings about information, but that information doesn't turn into transformation. For that information to turn into transformation, you need to have purity of mind. To have purity of mind, you need to have you need to pursue certain practices. In order to pursue those practices, you need to have Shraddha in those practices. Are you able to follow? Again, the sequence. Knowledge provides you with information. That's all. Information doesn't bring about a transformation. For information to turn into transformation, you need a pure mind. Purity of mind means certain disciplines is required for purity of mind. And who talks to you about those disciplines? Who tells you those disciplines are non-negotiable? The Shastra. That is Shraddha. Are you able to follow? Therefore, information, Shraddha, transformation. Information, Shraddha, transformation. That's why in some of the sessions last time we said with an impure mind also you can do Shravana Manana. Remember that we said even with an impure mind, Shravana Manana can be done with an impure mind. How do we say that? We are all sitting here doing it, no? That is the proof. You don't need purity of mind to do Shravana and Manana. Vijay, Purida? Purity of mind is not required for Shravana Manana. What is the proof? Anshu, what is the proof? Huh?
We are here.
Plural, not in plural.
I am here and listening.
Singular. What listening? Singular. For Shravana Manana, purity of mind is not required. Proof. Rashekharan. Proof. Singularல சொல்லுங்க. I am here. Say that. I am here itself is the proof that Shravana Manana doesn't require purity of mind. But transformation requires purity of mind. It means information, Shraddha, transformation. Why we talk about Shraddha? Because for Nididhyasana to happen, you need a purity of mind. For purity of mind to happen, you need to follow certain disciplines. And those disciplines may look irrational, mind will not like it, logic will not approve of it. Mind will not like it, logic will not approve of it, and yet you continue to pursue it. Because of what? Shraddha. Therefore, information, Shraddha, and transformation. Are you able to follow? Knowledge, Shraddha, wisdom. Information, Shraddha, transformation. Illana, you can also say knowledge, Shraddha, wisdom. This is how the sequence goes. Are you able to follow? Therefore, thinking is not opposite of, because most of the time people have this wrong notion that a thinking person will, a rational person means calling Shraddha or faith as unscientific and irrational. No. A thinking person knows the value of Shraddha. Are you able to follow? A thinking person knows the value of Shraddha. So making use of Shraddha makes you a realistic person. You are neither scientific nor unscientific. You are a realistic person. Why? Because you know how to make use of all the three faculties that can bring a quality change to your life. All the three entities brings a quality change to your life. What are the three? Mind emotions can do that. Intellect can do that. Shraddha can do that. Therefore, what? You know, Vedas synthesizes all the three and makes it and makes you and helps us to make use of all these things. Therefore, growth happens. This is the sequence. This is Shraddha. Shraddha means a life of lot of practices done for purity of mind. That is Shraddha. Are you able to follow? Lot of practices done for the purity of the mind. Then the information that we have turns into transformation. Knowledge turns into wisdom. Intellect guides the mind. What guides the intellect? We have said it in a different way altogether. Intellect guides the mind and action. What guides the intellect? Shastram we have said. Veda, the Shastram we have said. And the Shastram is revealed through the Shraddha, which is not anti to thinking. Therefore, thinking and Shraddha and feeling all goes all goes integrated. One is not ante to, one is not ante to the other. Otherwise, we always misunderstand one as opposite of another. Is it okay till now? Yeah. One more clarification and we can.
So you said that Shraddha is given at birth, and you also said that till Shraddha comes in contact with Veda, it cannot spark. There
Yes.
is no ignition taking place.
Yes.
So can we say that because now we have come in contact with Shastra, the spark is ignited,
Yes.
and we have some minimum Shraddha required to develop further Shraddha
Yes.
and take up these disciplinary practices? Can we say that?
Yes. The question that she is asking is, do we have a certification for minimum Shraddha? One question. The question that she's asking is, do we have a minimum certification for Shraddha? Because it is dinner time and I need dinner, I'm saying yes. Otherwise, the answer will be no only. Because of dinner time, the answer is yes. Because of Shraddha only we continue the study. Because of Shraddha only we continue the pursuit. How much ever at times the mind resists it. How much ever at times the mind wants to stop it. How much ever at times the mind wants to give it up. Are able to follow? Nitya Naimittika karma is not easy. To do Nitya Naimittika karma is not at all easy. To start with action with gratitude and contentment is not easy. To start acting with gratitude and contentment is not easy at all. To get infatuated to logic and reason doesn't make you Shraddha. You can have a fascination for logic and reason. Just as somebody will have a fascination for emotion, somebody can have a fascination for logic and reason, but that doesn't make it Shraddha. Are you able to follow? It is painful. Mind is resisting it. I feel like it's not taking me anywhere. Even when I do cross-checking, nothing is working. And yet, I continue the pursuit. That is called Shraddha. And this Shraddha one day will bring about the transformation. Shraddhavan labate jnanam means Shraddhavan labate vijnanam nartham. So wherever he says Shraddhavan labate jnanam, that word jnanam has to be understood as vijnanam, wisdom. Shraddhavan labate jnanam doesn't mean Shraddhavan labate information. Shraddhavan labate jnanam means Shraddhavan labate wisdom. Wisdom. Clear? The Vijnanamnu போடணும் because of Sanskrit grammar and the Gayatri meter, we போட முடியாதுங்க. Upanishadna, Upanishad will not worry about this Gayatri meter and dividing it into 4 grammatical things. Upanishad will say, Shraddhavan lavate Vijnanam. They won't care. Gita cares about the meter, the grammar, the grammatical thing. Therefore, it has to be the Gayatri meter, 4, 4, 4. Therefore, some words will not be used. In some context, some words will be used just to as a filler space. இதெல்லாம் கீதால நடக்கும். But மகாவாக்கியம்னா ஸ்ரத்தாவான் லபதே ஞானம். But how you should say it internally? ஸ்ரத்தாவான் லபதே விஜ்ஞானம். Because you can't say ஸ்ரத்தாவான் லபதே information. ஸ்ரத்தாவான் லபதே transformation, wisdom. With this, we conclude for today and we continue